Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's ex that she could have been my mom if she didn't cheat on my dad? Original post. Let me describe my family a bit. I am the youngest of 4 children, by far the youngest. I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister. My mom is my dad's second wife. From his first wife, I have an older half-sister who is 3 years older than my oldest full sibling. His first wife, his childhood friend, cheated on him way before, and after my dad made sure my half-sister was his, he divorced her. He met my mom and a few years later they tied a knot. The rest is history. My half-sister has always been welcome in our house. She gets along really well with all of us and even calls my mom auntie. Her mom, though, has always been a bit of a harpy. She hates my mom for many reasons outside of she stole my man. My mom is a retired fitness model and currently Pilates instructor, so she looks really good for her age, while she's more average and plump. She would always make snarky remarks like, "Oh, did you gain weight?" Or, "Are you pregnant again?" Even though my mom never stopped taking care of herself. With me though, she dotes on me and calls me the son she never had. With my older siblings, she mostly just ignores them. So my half-sister is getting married and my dad and his ex agreed to split the cost of the wedding 50-50. My dad doesn't care about planning for the wedding, so he left it all to the ex and the bride. During one of our meet and greet dinners, my half-sister revealed that she also invited my dad's estranged brother and parents. I can still remember my dad shooting a glare of pure anger at her. I asked my mom later why he reacted like that. I never met my uncle or grandparents on my dad's side, but from how my mom spoke, my dad's ex cheated on him with his brother and his parents knew it for years before confessing. So my half-sister could have been my cousin or something if the sperm chase went wrong. My dad's ex was together with my dad's brother for a while after she and my dad divorced, but split soon after. And my dad refused to forgive his family for fooling him like that, and went no contact with them for 25 years. So back to the dinner. My dad asked in a very stern yet quiet voice why she would, and my half-sister said she wanted to make her wedding more meaningful by also having a family reunion, and her mother supported her. She told my dad to bury the hatchet, at least for her daughter. My dad said she didn't have any right to tell him how to act. On her way out, my dad's ex and I bumped into each other, and she commented to me how she hoped that I wouldn't have a chip on my shoulder like my dad does. If not for that, they could still be one whole happy family, she said. I didn't like her tone and reminded her that she was the one who cheated and broke the family. And I told her that she could have been my mom. The last part made her cry like crazy as she ran out of the house. My dad asked me what happened and I told him, and he just grunted. Did I go too far? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. She constantly talks smack about your mom, makes a snarky comment about your dad, and you responded, "Oh well, play stupid games, win stupid prizes." I'm shocked that your dad is still going to the wedding though. How mature of him. Well, my dad is struggling with that at the moment. He really doesn't want to see his brother and parents because he says there are lines that family don't cross. I mean, honestly, I think he should have a conversation with your sister emphasizing that this would not be a family reunion. He hasn't talked to them in 25 years. I highly doubt 26 would be hard for him. If she can't respect that, then I totally understand him backing out physically. I sense the ex put this idea into her daughter's head, but daughter is an a-hole for going along with it. Not the a-hole and your sister is an idiot. 1. Weddings are not the place for reunions like this. Plus, your dad doesn't want to reunite. All she's doing is setting herself up for a wedding to be chaotic when your dad's family attempts to approach any of you guys, or when her mother, who loves drama, makes snarky/crude comments that involve them. The way I would ignore/be rude if any of my dad's family try to come up to me or make small talk after what they pulled. Ew. Your dad is better than me because I don't think I would even go. I'd have a serious conversation with half-sister about why she's choosing these people she barely knows, who's hurt her father so deeply over him. 2. All you did was tell the truth. Honestly, I would just stop engaging with her at all. Why even entertain her fake politeness with someone constantly disparaging your mother? Every time she makes one of her stupid comments, just stare blankly at her like she doesn't exist or doesn't matter. Guarantee that would tick her off even more. She enjoys the drama and attention. Give her absolutely nothing. Not a-hole. My sister is a bit of an airhead, to be honest. After the divorce, she more or less went back and forth between her mom and my dad. Now for the first update. Thank you so much for all your comments. I am glad that at least I wasn't being cruel. My dad's ex just bawled so much and suddenly that I thought I did something awful and I was worried. As of now, I don't really know what my dad is going to do. I know that my mom and dad are talking about it, but he really seems conflicted. I thought about asking him, but my oldest brother told me not to. He said that I had nothing to do with it, so I shouldn't bother him. My full siblings and I did just talk to my half-sibling about what she had done in our WhatsApp chat tonight. First, my full sister tore my half-sister a new one, calling all sorts of names, before my brother told her to stop or leave the chat. Then he asked her why she did what she did. Turns out that her idea of including a family reunion in her wedding was an idea from our paternal grandparents and her mom. Unlike myself and my full siblings, my half-sister regularly visited her grandparents and talked to them a lot about us. My grandparents apparently wanted to see us really bad, and her mom popped the idea. Then my second oldest brother said that while it was her wedding and she could invite whom she liked, she didn't take our father's feelings into account. There was a reason that he went no contact with them for all these years, and it wasn't up to her to try to fix burnt bridges. My half-sister then asked if Dad was going to pull money out of the wedding, and my sister sent a brutal message. Is that the most important thing right now, you bleep? I added that our father hasn't told us anything. My half-sister said that she shouldn't have even done this to begin with, and my sister commented, "You think?" She wondered if she couldn't send wedding invitations to her grandparents and uncle, but then her mom might pull her money. I sent the chat to my full siblings only chat. If Dad could fund the whole wedding, if that meant not inviting his brother and parents. My oldest brother told me to can it and don't bother Dad. She also asked how our dad has been, and I said that he is very conflicted and talking only to Mom about it. And then asked if her mom was okay since I made her cry. She said that her mom calmed down when they returned home. Apparently, they got into an argument when she called my dad a stubborn sob. To be honest, I think she is in a very tight spot. She can either piss off our dad or her mom. I don't know what my dad is going to do, and my oldest brother already reminded me twice that this wasn't my business. I honestly think Dad would be up for paying for the entire wedding if his estranged family didn't come. Of course, it's his money though, or maybe he is just so angry that he might pull out altogether. Edit: I didn't post the entire conversation that my full siblings and I had with my half-sister. I pulled only the relevant parts. What I was thinking when I thought my dad could pay for the entire wedding was, does Dad hate his family to the point where he could pay for everything just for them not to be there? I wasn't actually suggesting he pay for everything. That's stupid. Looks like a lot of you are wondering if my half-sister knew what happened between my dad and his family. She knows that they hurt him badly and has never forgiven them, but not the specifics of how they had hurt him. She knew the cheating part, but not the family lied to him for years part. Apparently, that's not something her mom or my dad's family discussed with her. Your sister is in a tough spot because she didn't think things through. That's on her. She fooled around and found out. Don't recommend your dad to fund the whole thing because weddings are expensive and that's not your money to offer suggestions with. Your half-sister is already an a-hole. Your dad doesn't need another dumb a-hole making plans with his money while disregarding his feelings. Stay out of it. Her wedding is none of your business. Let your dad decide if he wants to pull out funding or if he'll fund and decide not to attend. Don't believe whatever his ex or your half-sister say about the other side being uninvited. They pull this BS now. They can ambush your dad with his relatives during the wedding day. Not sure if you saw OP's edit, but the half-sister was never told the exact reason for why the uncle plus grandparents are estranged. She knows the cheating, but not the family lied to him for years part, because neither her mom nor her dad or their families would discuss with her. Not saying this means she is not the a-hole, but she also did not have all the information when making her decisions, which makes those around her a wee bit of an a-hole for not telling her. Even from what OP said in the edit, I don't think it is solidly clear if she knows the cheating was with the uncle or if she just thinks it was her mom cheated and the uncle/grandparents supported her mom over her dad. Or maybe she knows that her mom cheated with her uncle but doesn't really know about how the grandparents play into this since she doesn't know about the years of lying. Again, not saying she wasn't an a-hole, just that I have a bit more empathy for her because this seems like some vital information was/is missing, when literally all of her family except her knew the full truth all along. Not a-hole, your dad has been so disrespected in this mess. If I were him, I would pool funding of the entire clown show. Let the circus die the premature death it is destined for. Keep supporting your dad. Good luck. Right, I feel like he should pull out funding and just go low contact with his eldest kid. She's an adult who will have her own nuclear family soon. She's not his problem now. Now for the second update. So my half-sister came over Sunday and talked to my dad. Basically, she made a decision to have the wedding without her extended family and pay for the half of the wedding by herself and her fiancé. She sort of figured that her mom would pull her money out for making that decision. Dad seems to be much happier about it. I saw her crying a lot and my dad hugging her. Not sure on what happened exactly, but I'm guessing she apologized, and he accepted it. She stayed with us during the weekend and her mom came by. Mom and dad wouldn't let her in, so my half-sister and her mother talked outside for a bit. I guess it started off well, but then I heard shouting from outside. So when I came downstairs, both of them were screaming at each other. My dad calmly walked out and told my half-sister to go on in. He talked to her calmly while she went back and forth from screaming and crying. Then a car came by and a man stepped out. He walked towards my dad and held out his hand, but dad didn't take it. He sort of looked like my dad, but shorter and with longer hair, so I guess that he was my uncle. He tried to talk to my dad, but my dad pretty much ignored him. I went to my brothers and told them what was happening, and they immediately walked down and outside. They told me to stay inside, so I continued to stare out the window. My brothers just stood on the balcony. The new man said hi to them, but they didn't respond. Anyway, my dad spoke a bit with his ex-wife for a while and came back inside with my brothers. His ex-wife was glaring at my dad for a bit before going back to her car with a guy. When my brothers sat down, I asked if that was my uncle, and the oldest one nodded. Apparently, my two older brothers met my uncle purely by accident before. Things were smooth that night. My half-sister's fiancé came by and we all had a nice dinner. My mom and my sisters went away to plan the wedding since her mother is not joining in anymore. My brothers, my dad, me, and the fiancé just talked about stuff until we heard lots of honking right outside. We went to check it out and my uncle was back with my dad's ex-wife. My dad told my mom to call the cops while he tried to handle the situation. My brothers, my dad, and my half-sister's fiancé went out. There was some yelling and screaming, but then the cops came and they went away. So for the time being, my half-sister will be staying with us. I thought all was done until I got a text from my dad's ex after school yesterday. She asked if I could help her with something. I just blocked her number, but she then texted me on another number. I'm pretty sure my parents and brothers would say block her again, but there's nothing stopping her from using another phone numbers to bug me. Not sure what I can help her with anyway. Don't block, just ignore. This will allow your family to collect information to file for a protection order against the ex. This is a key and important suggestion. She is escalating, and legal action will likely be required at some point. Do not engage with her, but save the texts and any voicemails for evidence. Definitely, it can be used as evidence in case any legal action needs to be taken. Don't engage, just give her an opportunity to incriminate herself and show your father everything. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my sister-in-law live with us because I don't trust her, even though she's homeless? So my wife, 29 female, and I, 41 male, have been together for 5 years, married for 2. Everything has been great between us, except for one issue. Her sister, Megan, 26 female. Megan has always been a bit of a mess. Job hopping, partying, dating sketchy guys, and making terrible life decisions. Despite all of this, my wife always goes out of her way to help her, which I guess is understandable since they're close. A couple months ago, Megan got evicted from her apartment because she stopped paying rent. She claims it's because her ex-boyfriend stole money from her. She has nowhere to go and no savings. My wife came to me and said we should let Megan stay with us for a little while until she gets back on her feet. I immediately said no. Here's why. 1. Megan has stolen from us before. It was small stuff, random things like cash from my wallet or expensive liquor from our cabinet, but it's the principle. When we confronted her, she downplayed it and said she was just borrowing. 2. I don't trust her around our home. She's messy, careless, and honestly a bit of a liar. She's crashed her car multiple times, has had multiple landlords say she trashed their apartments, and I don't need that kind of stress in our house. We've worked hard to have a nice, peaceful home. 3. I know for a fact that if she moves in, she'll never leave. Megan is always looking for an easy way out, and I'm not willing to have a freeloader under my roof, especially one who has proven she can't be trusted. We'd be stuck with her forever. When I explained all of this to my wife, she got really upset. She said Megan had nowhere else to go and that she couldn't let her own sister be homeless. I told her Megan had other options. She could move in with her parents or, find a stable job. But my wife insists that she needs to stay with us because it's closer to her work and Megan doesn't get along with her parents. I told my wife that Megan could maybe stay for a weekend or something short, but absolutely no long-term arrangement. My wife then accused me of being heartless and not caring about her family, which isn't true. I just don't want to deal with Megan's irresponsibility. We got into a huge fight about it, and now my wife is giving me the silent treatment. Meanwhile, Megan has been couch surfing and still hasn't found a permanent place, so the pressure is building. I'm holding my ground, but now both my wife and her family are calling me an a-hole for letting Megan suffer when we have a spare room that could easily accommodate her. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my sister-in-law move in, even though she's homeless? Now for the top comments before reading the mini update. Once she moves in, you'll never get her out. She can go live with her parents if it's that dire of a situation. Obviously, there's a reason they don't want her either. Exactly. Go to the roommate sub and read horror stories of letting friends/families/coworkers come stay. I know a lot of people will say you're the a-hole, but seriously, wouldn't do it. You are being very realistic. The last point of your list is the worst. There is no exit plan. Press your wife on that. What is a little while? What is the plan for getting back on her feet? What happens if she does not stick to the plan? She won't. What is going to be different 6 months from now? Fair warning. Your wife is willing to bend over backwards for a thief and has zero respect for your concerns. Don't be surprised if the sister ends up precipitating the death of your relationship. If you take my advice and let the thieving do the legwork for you, will your wife take your side or her sister's? If she's caught stealing like she was before, my wife will take my side. She has a good head on her shoulders and is not controlled by her feelings. I have confidence that in a situation like you mentioned, cool heads will prevail from her, and her sister would be asked to leave. Mini update. My wife read through a lot of these comments after me and her had a chat. I think with a couple people's comments, she can really understand where I'm coming from and view this outside of it just being her sister. Thanks, Reddit.
Am I the a-hole for taking my nephew back to my sister's husband after she left him with me? My sister had her baby 6 months ago, and this morning she brought him to my apartment. It was 10 a.m. and I, 19 male, was half asleep. She asked me if I could watch him really quick cause she had some stuff to do and call her if anything. He was asleep, so I said okay, but he woke up 20 minutes later crying. I gave him his bottle, and he was calm for a bit, but started crying again. I don't know what to do with babies, so I call my sister. She says she's still stuck running errands, but she'll try to be there soon. When I asked if Ted, her husband, could come get him, she said to leave him alone because he's busy with work at the house. Literally an hour later, and he's still screaming his head off. I tried looking up how to calm him down, so I'm rocking him, trying to play on the floor or showing him my phone, but nothing. He wasn't having it. I called my sister 2 more times. First time she tells me to give him his bottle, which I already did, and says she'll be here soon. Second time she tells me to relax and she's almost done. Called her again 40 minutes later, but this time it goes to voicemail. Then I started to smell something bad, and it was because my nephew pooped in his diaper. Smell was awful, and I said hell no because I do not have it in me to change a soiled diaper. Nothing I did was making him stop crying. He was red in the face from crying all this time. I texted my sister telling her I was gonna take him to their house, but didn't get a reply. Ted was confused when I got there. I told him my sister said she had stuff to do and left him with me, but my nephew wouldn't stop crying. He has a dirty diaper and my sister won't answer me. Guys, he was so pissed off. He took my nephew and told me thank you for bringing him back. That was it. And when I got back home, my sister was calling me. She was flipping out asking why the hell did I took the baby back to their house when she told me not to. It's because she told Ted she was taking my nephew to her friend's house to have breakfast so her friend could see him, and now he's mad at her because obviously she didn't do that. My parents told me they're in the middle of a huge fight, and I should have stayed out of it and babysat my nephew. I don't know what's going on. All I know is Ted is not talking to her. My sister called me a couple of times to tell me stuff, and she can't believe I was such a horrible brother that I couldn't do one simple favor for her when she needed it. Now I'm feeling bad, and I don't know if I should have done different. Was I an a-hole for taking my nephew back instead of waiting for her to show up? Edit. Since some of you are focused on the dirty diaper thing, yeah, it makes me sick and want to puke just seeing my sister do it. Not gonna have kids because I'm not built for that stuff and wasn't gonna even try it with him. Also, he wasn't with a dirty diaper that whole time. Less than 15 minutes because as soon as I knew it was a dirty diaper, I drove him to their house. He definitely wasn't dirty before that because he was making a face when he did go, and that's when the bad smell came. Now for the top comments. Not a hole. Who lied to her husband? Your sister. Who lied to you? By omission? Your sister. Who did pick her phone when her baby was left with a babysitter? Your sister. Who's responsible for the situation? Your sister. I had a It Was Agatha All Along song running through my head reading this. And I cheated on my husband too. Not a-hole. Sounds like your sister is having an affair. Shame on her for putting you in the middle. Holy smokes. I didn't even think about that. Enjoy the waning innocence of utopia. The world and the adults who inhabit it are generally crap. Not a-hole. It sounds like your sister just got caught cheating on her husband. Neither the affair or her getting caught are your fault. Your parents are either being lied to about what happened or are a-holes for enabling your sister. You didn't insert yourself in this situation. Your sister dragged you in. My brother-in-law was seen kissing another woman at a bar one night, texted his wife the next day asking for a divorce, and spent the next several months swapping heart emojis on Facebook with the other woman, and my in-laws insisted didn't cheat. Some people just want to be delusional. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my pregnant sister after she accused my girlfriend of cheating? Years ago, I discovered my older sister, Lisa, was cheating on her fiancé. First, I confronted her about her affair, and she begged me to not reveal her affair to her fiancé as she was coming clean. I told her fiancé. He called off the engagement and broke up with her. She was very devastated about the whole ordeal and blames me for the failure of her relationships. My girlfriend, Anna, and I have been dating for 4 years. She's wonderful, and I cannot wait to marry her someday. My sister doesn't like my girlfriend, or rather, she's convinced that she's cheating on me. Every single interaction my girlfriend has with another man is, according to Lisa, is evidence of her infidelity. This is very obviously absurd, and has led to Anna and I distancing ourselves from Lisa and blocking her on all social media. Currently, my sister has a 3-year-old daughter and is pregnant with her second child. Her boyfriend recently got laid off and she doesn't work. Unfortunately, they can't stay in their apartment right now, so they asked me if they could move in with us. My girlfriend was very sympathetic to their situation and agreed to have them stay with us. My niece adores Anna and they get along well. Lisa wasn't making inappropriate comments directed at my comment. She wasn't insinuating that Anna was cheating on me. She was rather respectful, and I think my girlfriend and I really appreciate the change in attitude. A couple of days ago, Anna received the tragic news that her friend, Ben, unexpectedly passed away. Ben and Anna were very close friends, and they clearly held a lot of love for each other. Anna's very obviously devastated by his death, and though she's been very busy in trying to distract herself, I do want to give her time to properly grieve his death. At first, Lisa was being rather respectful, until she wasn't. Lisa asked a question about how they met, and Anna showed her a picture of the both of them in primary school. In the picture, Anna and Ben are holding hands, and Anna has a big grin on her face. Now, I don't know the backstory of this picture, but I know that it's not the smoking gun of my girlfriend's infidelity. From that point, she's been confronting me with useless proof. Lisa has been telling me to watch out for my girlfriend, questioning why she was so upset with Ben's death, why she still has pictures from where they were dating in primary school. Spoiler, they've never dated before. I told her to shut up. Lisa, while Ben's brother had come to visit Anna in our home, heavily insinuated that my girlfriend was an easy girl because she moved on from one brother to the next. This was extremely disrespectful, and so I yelled at her and kicked her out. Now I'm starting to feel guilty. My sister has nowhere to stay. My parents aren't very fond of her boyfriend, so staying with them isn't the best option, and Anna and my niece were having a great time. I'm starting to feel bad. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You made it clear to Lisa that her advice was unnecessary regarding Anna. She didn't get the message. If you want to be nice, give her one more opportunity so that she can work it out. Because there is a child in the mix. Make it absolutely clear that what Anna does or does not do regarding your relationship has absolutely nothing to do with her. And any comment regarding Anna will result in you asking her to leave in next days. It's a shame. I think bonding with my niece was putting a good smile on Anna's face. That's another reason I didn't want to kick them out. Not the a-hole. So the boyfriend can't get along with your parents and your sister can't get along with your partner. I'd say they are the problem. You don't need that disrespect in your own home. I know. I feel really bad for Anna though. She doesn't need all this right now. Not the a-hole. Hey, your sister made her bed. Now she can sleep in it. Just not in your house. Not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister is projecting hard, or she wants to make others feel as miserable as she does. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I don't know how to help her and I don't want to get involved when she suggested stuff? My sister, 32 female, got married in August. She has 2 kids, ages 11 and 10, while her husband has a child who is 8. My sister and her husband were dating for 4 years, and the kids were introduced a year in. Back when they were still in those early stages, my niece and nephew told her they didn't want a step family. She took them to therapy, and then about 6 months later brought her husband, then boyfriend, in. The kids did not have a change of heart, and my sister decided they would just need to deal. And so she moved in with him, they got engaged, and then during the pandemic they got married in what was supposed to be them and the kids. But my niece and nephew ended up with my parents because they didn't want to go to the wedding. It broke my sister's heart. I remember talking to them the day before the wedding about it and asking them why they were so against it. And they explained they didn't want a stepdad or a step-sibling, and they didn't know why it couldn't be just them. I told them he made their mom happy, and if he was nice to them, maybe they could not call him stepdad, but still give him and his son a chance to be people they care about. It didn't work, obviously. Since that point, nothing has changed. They resist spending time as a family, and they resist time with just stepdad/stepbrother. And my sister is frustrated and angry because her husband is not happy that his son feels left out and unwanted. Their marriage has hit some hurdles. She talked to the kids and asked them why they were so resistant, and they said it's because they don't like or love either of them, and that they don't need them. My sister came to me and asked me to help, and I told her honestly that I didn't know what I could do. She told me I could get a little firmer with them, and since they trust and listen to me, as well as confide in me about this stuff more easily, that I could add pressure to make them come around. I told her I did not want to get involved like that it could end up hurting my relationship with them if they feel like I've turned against them. I said I honestly think they will just need to talk it out with therapists, and whatever ends up happening, happens, and I don't know that anything we can do really change it. She told me I wasn't a very good aunt and sister if that's how I feel, and how I respond when asked to help something that is very important. I offered that I could maybe try to encourage it more gently again, and she told me that was the same as doing nothing. I do feel bad. I just honestly think that pushing has not helped any relationship so far. They're not as close to my sister or my parents because they came down harder on them. And if they feel isolated from everyone, it could easily discourage them wanting to try because who knows what resentment could build. So now I'm wondering, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Stuff like this is hard for kids. And you should never be in a position where you have to fear losing the good relationship to them because of your sister's choices. I know this is off topic now, but for me it seems like she rushed this decision without giving enough space for her children to express their feelings, so now they wall up against everything. And I think it's not your job nor responsibility to fix this now, and give your niece and nephew the feeling of everyone being against them. Staying as neutral as possible here is probably the best. Good luck. Not Dayhall. I think your sister is trying to place a completely unreasonable burden on you. As you say, the real risk here is damaging your existing relationship with your niece and nephew. You can continue to try your gentle approach and anything else you feel comfortable doing. Not Dayhall. OP, maybe because your sister's kid seems to like and respect you so much, you could lead by example and develop a relationship with stepson. Make a point of spending some time with him each time you visit, play a game that he likes, etc., and the other two will eventually follow. They'll want to know what cool auntie finds so interesting about this kid. Good luck, Opie. You're doing great so far. That has actually never helped. We've been developing a relationship slowly over time, and I have tried to make it seem interesting to the kids. But no dice. It will eventually, if you take the little boy out for ice cream or to a park or whatever. There's no obligation on you, but if you do want to help, Above's suggestion does seem to be the best idea. You just build a positive relationship with the boy, and if the older kids want to participate, they'll have to be civil. If they'd rather stay home than participate because the little boy is there, let them. Don't force it. The little boy will get extra attention that might help him while his older step-siblings are acting poorly. That's what they do. Before COVID and stuff happened, step-nephew and I had spent some time together. I'm saying step-nephew to make it more clear who I'm talking about to others. We do ice cream or pizza occasionally, and my niece and nephew never wanted to come. They never wanted to join us for Mario Kart or the park. Not saying it might never work, but I don't see it as something that will get them interested, no matter who is involved. Yet, when it's just them and me, they jump at the chance. Last story is titled, Would I be the a-hole if I kick my brother and his wife out even though I know they can't support themselves and their newborn baby? Okay, so this is complicated to me. So I, 23 male, am kicking my brother, 25 male, out at the start of the month. A little backstory. My brother and his wife, 23 female, who is pregnant at the time, were kicked out of her mom's house back in September of 2020. My brother asked if he could move in with my wife, 22 female, and me for a few months while he got another job and made enough to get a place for him and his family. I was okay with it, so he moved in with his wife. I set them up in the living room on a fold-out couch. As months went by, he didn't find a job, but kept saying he was looking for one, and he had no way to get to any interviews. He and his wife refused to clean the house, and make such a mess that my wife was becoming increasingly frustrated with him. I offered to take him to work. All I ask is for him to find something. Anything. Even the simple ones like fast food restaurants, because a job is better than no job, right? I kept reminding him that his baby is on the way and get a job. Well, my nephew was born in January, and he still hasn't gotten a job. After I kept persisting, did he actually make an attempt at finding one? After 5 months. He worked for a month with hardly any problems and was paying rent finally. So when I asked him how much longer it would be till he was ready to move out, he said he wasn't sure because he was buying a car. This did not bother me because he needed it to get to work without me taking him there. It gave me a break. The problem really came when he got the car. He started to not go to work. Instead, he would drive all day and night and sleep when it was time to work. I asked him what was going on, and all he could say was, "Don't worry, I still have a job," and then shut me down every time I persisted. Well, a week ago I was at work and my wife called me on the phone saying I needed to get home immediately because my brother cussed her out. I get home and my wife explained that she said she's worried they aren't saving any money, and he started cussing her out saying, "Don't count my pockets." I told him I will count your pockets anytime I feel, because I need to make sure he leaves like he said he would. He told me to go screw myself. If he doesn't want to let me know how much money he is saving back then, he needs to set a date to leave and stick with it. He said to give him till the end of the month. I agreed. So he is scheduled to leave at the beginning of the month. But I know for a fact he will not have enough money to get into a place or take care of their newborn baby. So I guess what I'm asking is, am I the a-hole if I kick my brother and his wife out, even though I know they won't be able to support themselves and the baby? Edit. My wife agreed to have them move in. She thought it would be okay to help. She views my brother as an older brother, though we both slowly started to resent him and his behavior over time. She lost faith in them quicker than I did. I came to their defense longer than I should have. Not day-hole. If you don't kick them out, they will never, and I mean never, leave. They'll always have an excuse. Don't feel bad for wanting them to move out. You were generous enough to let them stay for a few months, and now their time's up. Also, they decided to have a child, so now they need to step up and be responsible adults. I agree. I feel like I am financially taking on the responsibility of the baby. I spent over $1,500 to make sure my brother had everything the baby needed. Yeah, they're definitely taking advantage of your generosity. Just do what you feel is best for you. Not day-hole, but your brother absolutely is for putting his family in this situation. This is entirely on him. It makes me wonder why they were kicked out of their last place, and if there are mental health or addiction issues at play. You set the boundaries you need to. You are not in the wrong. I agree with you. However, addiction is not one of the issues. He sleeps and plays video games all day. But recently, when getting his car, has been on the road. I don't know where he goes. I was just curious, since his behavior sounds odd. But some people are just selfish and irresponsible. I want to add, it was kind of you to let them stay with you as long as you did. Please don't feel guilty that there are consequences to your brother's choices. If I didn't know him as well as I do, that would have been a really good guess. Thank you for your support and advice. It means a lot.